All right, next up, I better get all this right or I feel like there's going to be some sort of retribution. Our next contestant up for the Spartan Story Slam initial run is Rabbi Yossi Liebowitz. With Spartan County and the rabbi of the dino Israel Temple. Did I say that right? Close enough? Ned?
B'nai.
B'nai. Thank you very much. 30th year in the business. Just completed. 30th year. So he knows something. He's been around the block a couple of times. He has his second doctorate, so he is way more educated than I am. And it's got a bunch of literary, I'm not going to read all this stuff, blah, 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 blah. Also served as the technical editor for Judaism for Dummies and a reverence guide for the rest of us. So please welcome the rabbi, please.
There I was Thursday morning, sitting at my desk thinking Hebrew thoughts. I get a call from Todd that says, would you like to tell some story next week? My first thought was, there's 500 Baptist ministers in Spartanburg and he calls a rabbi. Must have been desperate or didn't want them to have their feelings hurt. Anyway, this is kind of an audience participation story. So I'm going to show the same picture twice. One is in this direction, stage right, and you'll go, ooh, let's practice. Ooh. Like polar bear in a snowstorm there. And this side will go, ah. Ah. Okay? Ooh. Ah. It's amazing what you can get adults to do just by asking. Anyway. Well, this is the first time that I went on a dinosaur dig with a rabbinic colleague, a rabbi friend named Lauren. We had gone back and forth across the country, from West Coast to East Coast, at least 3 or 4 times. And I called him and I said, there's a dinosaur dig. And ever since I was a kid, seeing the Natural History Museum in New York and seeing that big Tyrannosaurus, Apatosaurus that stretched from one side of the room to the other, I wanted to do the real thing and dig up dinos and see if that was possible. So there we were, 2 Jewish guys going to the heart of Judaism in America, Faith, South Dakota. We realized immediately upon landing on the rancher's land that the rabbinic, the Jewish population of South Dakota had increased by 3 million%. We kept our identity secret among the 38 other people. We didn't want to be noticed. We wanted to be anonymous. And we spent each $500 to be able to be there for 10 days in 110-degree heat, work 7 days around the clock almost, at least 12 hours. And there were 40 of us that had the best vacation you can ever have, sharing, and I kid you not, 1 shower and 1 bathroom. Yuck. And there we were, looking a little bit like Indiana Jones or Indiana Jonowitzes. And we had a great time. We were hunting for duck-billed dinosaurs. Trying to do what we could to make sense of all these fossils. Sometimes they come together in a broken bed, not at all, you know, in the way you like to think of it in movies. And this is what the broken bed looked like, a bunch of fossils you couldn't make heads or tails out of them. Heads or tails out of them. Sometimes you'd have to dig them on flat land, but mostly you'd have to go up a cliff. Why would you go up a cliff? Because all the rain would bring down the little bits of fossil that were slowly being removed and would flow all the way down at the bottom. And you see at the bottom of the cliff, you'd see some fossils, and you say, up there must be the rest of it. And so here I am, risking my life on a cliff. You would dig them out, you chip them up, you do the best that you could on that rock, sweating away, and after a while you'd have to encase them in a big plaster jacket, which is this thing here, weighed 3 times more than the fossils, and you would take it all the way to the laboratory, and in the laboratory you would chip it away and re-excavate it. Here I am doing my excavation in the lab. Thank you. Well, we did this for quite a while. We were mostly looking for duck-billed dinosaurs, had a good time. And on the 4th day of the dig, we had our Sabbath meal, keeping ourselves anonymous. And the most unsemitic girl, who was blonde-haired and blue-eyed, looked Scandinavian, came up to us. And she said, and I quote, "I haven't lit Sabbath candles in my synagogue for at least 5 years. Can I join you?"
Yeah.
And I said, the population of South Dakota just increased another 30% Jewishly speaking. She came and she joined us. And to show you that dinosaurs can be Jewish, I have the first Hanukkah Jewish menorah. And I'm very proud of it. And we had a wonderful time. And I just want to quote 2 pieces from the Bible. It says in the book of Job, "Speak to the earth and it shall instruct you." And the second quote is from the precious book of Ezekiel, a book of hope, that says, "These dry bones can live again." So alas, this was the first time that I went on a dinosaur dig with my friend, my buddy, my companion, Lori, my fellow rabbi, and alas, it was the last time. It was just a year later, he got a terrible blood disease, and he left this earth. And now I think about that from time to time, and I know that dry bones do live again, and that someday we'll be in the great dinosaur dig up in the sky.